5 years ago today, a rover named Perseverance, nicknamed Percy, lands on Mars. And guess what? Today, it's still chugging along and doing great stuff too, by the way. Joining us is Cornell astronomer Alex Hayes, who we talked to many times before. He operates the high-tech camera on Percy. And sitting by him, Ralph Lorenz, planetary scientist from Johns Hopkins, another Mars scientist. He's on Mars 2020 team. Good to see you both. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex, let's start with you. It's been a few months, obviously, since we've chatted. Give us an update on how Percy is doing and more specifically, the camera that you operate. How's it doing and what are you guys seeing there?
Yep, great. Thanks for having me. The rover and the camera is doing great. In fact, NASA just finished an assessment of how the instruments are doing and predict that we'll be continuing operations out through the early 2030s. We just finished the prime mission and are moving into planning our first extended mission with the rover, which is now outside of the crater we landed in and studying the area just outside the crater near a collection of dune fields that have been the focus of the most recent imaging campaigns.
Obviously, you guys are the experts at it. Everything I see coming back from Percy looks really amazing. But Alex, tell us exactly what it means to a scientist when you get those pictures and the videos back.
Sure. So the primary goal, or one of the primary goals of Perseverance, is to try to understand the past habitability of Mars. Was Mars a place billions of years ago that could have supported life? And if it is, or was, which we think it was life there? And so the images we acquire are really meant to tell us that story of what the landscape was like billions of years ago and provide context for the samples that we're acquiring and caching in little tubes on the surface. And the most exciting thing to me that's happened in the past year has been the discovery of a sample that's called Sapphire Canyon in a place called Neretva Vallis, which showed these little millimeter-sized spots in them that are, black rim spots that we think are evidence of potential microbial activity. And if we saw those on Earth, you'd say, yeah, microbes made those. And of course, we don't know that for sure yet on Mars, but it's the best evidence yet that Mars might have had life in its past.
Oh, that's awesome. Ralph, I want to bring you in now because it's not just pictures that we're getting back from Perseverance. There's also a microphone up there. So what are we hearing up there?
Yeah, that's right. Well, basically, Perseverance has a microphone, which is the first such instrument to really record sound in another planetary environment at length. And, if you add up all the little 10-second recordings, we've been actually listening for about a day now. So we start to hear some relatively rare things. I mean, there's a kind of continuous background of the hum of the rover pumps, and we can hear some of the mechanisms operating. We hear the wind, but we've even heard some occasional things like the sound of a little spark jumping from the rover to the ground when the rover got hit by a dust devil, a whirlwind that was blowing sand around. So, the rocks tell us a lot about the history of Mars, but, the sounds are kind of a really immediate message of what Mars is like today.
Yeah, when you marry those together, Ralph, the sounds and the pictures, eventually someday, hopefully we'll get the samples back to Earth here, but when you marry those two things together right now, is it filling in a picture, so to speak, for...
Well, one thing it's telling us is Mars is a very active place. You hear the sound of the sand grains hissing around when they're blown, and you can see that sand accumulating on the deck of the rover, in fact. So we're seeing geological change. The sand blowing can erode some of the rocks, for example, and transport material long distances. So, it's just reinforcing the message of Mars as an active place.
I got about a minute left. I want to get both of you on this one quickly. Still fun going to work when you're studying Mars and you're getting all this information back like you just talked about? Alex, what about you? Still fun?
It's still amazingly fun. And in fact, this part of the mission is my favorite because after we've been doing it for a few years, the junior folks, the students that were involved in the beginning are now starting to take leadership roles, and they're starting to be able to make decisions about what the rover's going to do, where it's going to go, be the prime in the front of the computer that's sending the commands. And so it's really exciting to see that next generation start to get more involved and start to take leadership roles in the mission as we progress into that first extended mission.
Ralph, you too, still pretty cool job to do this?
every day's like Christmas. I mean, we're on a mission of scientific discovery. We don't know what tomorrow will bring, but we're going new places, we're seeing new things. It's a huge privilege to work on this stuff.
Ralph, Alex, always a pleasure. Really appreciate it. Ralph, first time. I'd love to have you back sometime with Alex. But guys, thank you so much for your time. This is really fun, exciting, interesting stuff. Appreciate it. We'll talk hopefully soon.
Great, thank you.
Download the WSYR Plus app on your TV to stream News Channel 9 for free. Just go to your smart TV, search WSYR Plus in the App Store, and download to start streaming today.